It's December 29th, 2020, and this is your daily devotion. I am wearing one of my favorite Christmas gifts. I don't know if it'll come out backwards in this video, but it says, "This is the way," and there's a picture of Baby Yoda. For those of you that are Star Wars fans, or if you've been watching The Mandalorian, you will be familiar with this phrase. Whenever a hard decision was to be made or something was to be done a certain way, the Mandalorian, with his very devout way of being as a Mandalorian, would say, "This is the way." And so I told my family that was going to be my new catchphrase for this year. Whenever something needed to be done the right way, I was going to say, "This is the way." But as we come to the end of this year and we're transitioning toward the next one with a lot of hope, but maybe also with some trepidation, because, let's face it, this last year has not been what we expected, most likely. And a lot of the ways that we used to do things have been changed. A lot of our external props have been taken away. Maybe a lot of life has been lost, and I'm not saying anything you don't know. So how are we going to be in the new year? What is the way? Well, of course, we know the way. It doesn't hurt to be reminded, does it? I once knew a preacher who said, in the midst of all of the argument over where the Ten Commandments should be posted and where they were going to be taken down and the whole controversy, he just said, I never see anybody fighting to post Matthew 5. Because in Matthew 5, Jesus explains the way that God's children are to be, not merely the letter of the law, but beyond, to the spirit of the law. So I'm going to read some of Jesus's interpretations of the way that we are to be God's people from Matthew 5. I'm going to begin in verse 21, and I'm going to kind of skip through. There's a lot more detail that you can read for yourself. Matthew 5:21. You have heard that it was said to those of ancient times, "You shall not murder, and whoever murders shall be liable to judgment." But I say to you, if you are angry with a brother or sister, you will be liable to judgment. And if you insult a brother or sister, you will be liable to the council. And if you say, "You fool," you will be liable to the hell of fire. Let's skip down to verse 27. You have heard it was said, "You shall not commit adultery." But I say to you, everyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Skip to verse 38. You have heard it was said, "An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth." But I say to you, do not resist an evildoer, but if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn the other also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your coat, give your cloak as well. And then verse 43, you have heard it was said, "You shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy." But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be children of your Father in heaven, for he makes his sun to rise on the evil and the good. And then skipping to the second part of verse 47. And then in verse 48. Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. And you might say, well, that's not possible. How can I be perfect? Of course, we can't be perfect in the sense that we are translating that term. But if you go to the original languages, the word here was closer to "be ye solid." Be who you are all the way through, God's children, who love God and love one another and be solid in that. Nobody can shake you in that. Nobody can make you mad enough to hit them back. Nobody can take away your love or who you are, because you are God's child. How do we go into 2021? This is the way. Have a great day.